Are we live? I think we are live. Let me check. Is my mic's using? It looks like we're getting mic input. We're getting some stuff. All right, can y'all hear me? All right, let me see. Okay, yeah. I'm still running off my laptop because all of the stuff I was doing with my computer kind of got put on a back burner while I was sick and fighting for my life. Excellent. Let's see here. Online feedback stream. Here we go. All right, awesome. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Can everybody hear me? Let me know in the comments. Trevoloza. Y'all, how can I send a songy to receive feedback from? Excellent question. So, if you go to looks like Flimflammery actually gave the comment, gave the answer. Thank you, Flimflammery. Yeah, so there are two basic places where you can find it. Usually the very last stream of the week. So the last Friday of the month, I mean. Last Friday of the month, if you follow me on YouTube, I will make a post on the community page. You can see here's the post where it was postponed because I have been super like crazy sick. Like I have never slept or coughed this much in my life. I slept for like 24 hours straight 1 week ago, like last Friday. Oh, it was awful. I swear I almost died. But you can see here, I make posts. Usually it's the last stream of the month, last Friday of the month. There are some basic guidelines. You can submit a piece of music no longer than 4 minutes, or if it's longer than 4 minutes, just understand I'm only going to listen to the first 4 minutes. I would like something specific that you would like feedback on, just because since I'm listening to all of these live, it's very helpful to know specifically what I'm listening for. It just make sure that I have something to focus on. 1 second, my phone is blowing up. Double check. Oh, nope, just YouTube telling me that I'm live. All right, yes, I ask specifically for SoundCloud or YouTube links. I just don't download anything from strangers, so hopefully that's understandable. And then you can send me an email at tabletopcomposer@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Instagram. I'll pull up my Instagram here. Instagram. So you can see, if you follow my Instagram page, you can see that I make the post here as well. Same description, same everything. I tend to be a bit more active on Instagram in regards to announcements. But yeah, I've got lots of cool plans for the YouTube channel this year. I'm going to be posting way more frequently, people. I'm super excited about it. I've already got a lot of videos like outlined and made and stuff. So yeah, so Trevoloza, if you want to submit a piece next time, the next live stream feedback session will be the last Friday of January. So that will be January 31st. Look at that. That works out handily. Yeah, so January 31st is when I will do the next live stream feedback, which means on the 27th, most likely, that Monday beforehand, is when I'll make the announcement. So follow me on YouTube, follow me on Instagram, and keep an eye out for it, or just set it in your calendar. Set in your calendar Monday, January 27th, to check out my YouTube community page to see when I'm going to get instructions for that. So hopefully that's helpful. Welcome, Flimflammery. Welcome, Judith. And welcome, Tamashi. Awesome. So we got some regulars here. All right. I have got my sip of my tea. Today's stream is going to be pretty quickly. I'm going to go pretty quick, people. I'm still on the recovery rebound end of things from like the illness. I have been super sick. Don't know what it was, don't know how I got it, but it took me down. But first, let's just dive in, shall we? So we got 4 submissions today, which is that's not as many. Usually we have at least like 9, so this is actually kind of helpful for me at least. First one, we have one of the regulars, Judith. Judith has submitted a piece. Can you give me feedback on the balance levels and the transition into each section, as the last transition I'm not convinced on at the moment? Okay, fair enough. Fair point. Additional information. This was written for a friend who turned 60. Oh, nice. Lovely. He was the son of a farmer, so I called it The Farmer's Boy. Aw, isn't that cute? I have tried to capture growing up as a young boy on a farm, intro and first run of the melody. Ooh, moving into a young adult and lots of antics as a young adult or as a young man, next section. A bit of a falling in love section, and the last section a bit of a mismatch of the 2 melodies with a drunken party feel, which could actually be my poor MIDI programming if it really does feel drunken. So let me know if I can capture this. This is awesome. So Judith has written what is called a program symphony, or a piece of instrumental music that tells a specific story. And it looks like we have specific sections are telling specific moments in the life of the person. So let's give a listen, shall we? Let me know if you guys can hear this. Happy New Year, people! Happy New Year! Alright, thank you, Flimflammery. That's beautiful. That was beautiful, Judith. What a tremendous gift for your friend. That's awesome. Incredibly well done. All right, so first off, so a couple kind of things to say. Once, I think the balance works really, really well. There's like one moment where you brought the drums in first where I thought, maybe it's the drums feel a little out of place, but no, I think it worked really well. I don't know what software you're using. It sounds like it might be Note Performer. I think it sounds really, really good. The balance sounds fine. Now, about the transitions. This is a classic, I think, example of worrying over nothing. Your transitions were fine. There was never a moment, especially with transitions, I typically look for two things. I look for bumps and I look for dips. So a bump is when something sticks out when it really, really shouldn't. Maybe if you have an instrument that honks or something, or just something that feels out of place. A dip is when it feels like something's missing. There's one moment, I think for the very last transition, I think it was a little after the 2-minute marker, where you come into the final section and it's got a nice big energy, a nice fun bright sound. I think there was a little bit of a dip where it felt like there should have been something to, boom, mark the arrival of the final section. And that could be something as simple as like a drum roll into a cymbal crash, or a drum roll into a timpani hit, or some kind of accentuation, something to kind of accent and bam, hit right on the dot as you start that new section. But even then, it was a very, very minimal thing, and I was only noticing it because you told me specifically to look for that section. I think this is done very, very well. I really don't have that much I can say about this. One thing I will say is if you are worried about transitions. All right, so transitions are a topic I have talked about at length on this channel. I've done live streams, I've done videos, I've done blog posts, I'm pretty sure. I've got sections in my textbook all about transitions. All right, check out my textbook. It's on my website, tabletop.composer.com. But if you're really, really worried and you want to make sure something sounds smooth, the simplest thing you can do. That looks wrong. I'm going to close this, going to do this. There we go. If you are worried about transitions, the simplest strategy for making sure it sounds smooth and seamless is to make sure you have something overlapping the two sections. All right, so that something could be anything. All right, it could be you're using the same instruments from one section to the next. It could be that you're using a same layer, like a counter melody that continues. But the idea is you're transitioning from section A to section B. If you want to keep it smooth, find at least one element to remain constant. My personal recommendation is whatever instruments are being used in the background, just keep it like that way. If you've got the strings playing chords in section A, and then section B changes to a new melody, and you've got a new instrument on the melody, and you've got a new key, and you've got a new texture, so a new different collection of layers, but you still have chords playing. Keep those chords in the strings. That continuity, that bridge between those two sections will help create a much smoother, more seamless, kind of related idea, because that's really all it is. A smooth transition is simply a transition where the first and second parts feel related or natural. All right. Section A moving into section B, that smooth sound just means it sounds very natural. It sounds like it makes sense to go from A to B. And the way you can do that is to make sure they feel related by having similar materials. If you want to learn more, I believe, where was it? Tabletop Composer, Sogno di Volare. This one right here. What composers can learn by listening to the Civ 16. This is an old video. It's a quick one. I believe it's this one. Watch this video and it'll talk about how a lot of transitions were navigated within this very beautiful dynamic piece of music. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. I got a bunch of comments here. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Yes. Yes, I am doing very well. Hasud Hanva, sorry for butchering your name pronunciation, says, how are you? And happy 2025. I'm doing pretty well. Can't complain. I am on the back end of a terrible, terrible cold or flu or something. So I'm still a little sick. I'm still a little tired. I'm holding back a bunch of coughing at the moment. But I am super happy to finally start getting some energy back. And so I'm really glad to be here streaming in front of all of y'all. I'm excited for an exciting 2025. 2025 is going to be a big year for this channel, folks. I am committing to the channel. I'm going to start spending a lot more time on it. And the plan is, starting February, to start posting once every week again. I'm going to spend January building up a lot of videos. And then starting in February, I'm going to start releasing some videos, including a couple of sponsored videos that I'm very excited to be sharing. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Let's see here. Tamashi says, can you help me a little? I'm trying to make a script for my YouTube music analysis video. Can you give me tips on how to write it and how not to get bored, or do you struggle with that or not? Yes, I struggle with that quite a bit. I love music. I love live streams. I hate having to do YouTube and script writing and everything. It's just my least favorite part of the job. My recommendation is start with an outline. Start with like bullet points of the main points you want to share. So basically start with the video. If you've got a video, make a list of everything you want to teach, everything you want to share. Then once you have a list of everything you want to teach, everything you want to share, organize that into the order you want to teach it and share it. And then from there, flesh it out. It's so much easier to flesh out an outline and move from there than it is to try and write everything from scratch. That's actually how I wrote my entire textbook in, I think it was 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks to write this 400-page textbook, which you can get on my website and on Amazon. Good reviews on both. Because I spent a couple months outlining the entire thing, making bullet points for every chapter. I started with a master list of every single topic I wanted to teach. My goal was to have one book that could take a complete beginner and get them to like the intermediate advanced level. And I made a list of everything I thought you should know. And then I organized it in the order I thought it was best to teach it. And then I just kind of fleshed out each chapter. So that's what I would recommend. Outlines are my best friends when it comes to scripts and whatnot. Very nice people complimenting Judith. It was a beautiful, beautiful piece. Turd McNugget. Are submissions still open and how to submit? Unfortunately not. Submissions are not open, unfortunately, just because it keeps me from having to go back and forth during the middle of a stream. However, the next stream, y'all, is going to be January 31st. So if we look at January calendar, if you pull this up, January, the 31st is the last Friday of every month, unless I'm sick or something happens or something comes up. The last Friday of every month is when I do my live stream of free feedback. Zero, like you don't have to pay for anything, all right? Free feedback. I make the announcement the previous Monday. So if you follow me on Instagram, I think I'd already talked about this at the beginning of the stream, so we'll be quick about it. But on Instagram, you will get my notifications. You'll see I make a post, live feedback on your music. And then you can also get the same one on my YouTube channel. Where if you go to my YouTube channel and you go to the community tab, let's see here. Yep, go to my YouTube channel, go to the community tab. So here's my channel. Go to community, or if you follow or you hit like notifications to be like the notification bell so that you get a notification every time I post something, you'll see that I make posts. This is the post I made that I was super sick and couldn't do the live stream last week, but this is the original post where you see the instructions on how to submit. So at the end of January, I will be doing another one of these, and I will listen to every single piece that gets submitted unless there's like an ungodly number, like 50 or so, at which point I'll probably have to do multiple streams and then come up with a new idea of how to do it. But I doubt that. It hasn't happened yet. Usually we get about anywhere from 9 to like 14 submissions. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that, Turd McNugget. I would love to hear your music. Lots of compliments for Judith's music. The Monster Explorers. Hello. Sorry, I don't get to attend your streams much, but I'm here for a bit while I'm on break. Wonderful. That's awesome. Welcome to the streams. I'm glad you could make it. I do love them. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos this year, but I will continue the weekly streams because I just really love the streams. They're a lot of fun for me. Judith says, we'll respond in a minute. I need to find my glasses. Great lyrical parts from Ad Hoc. I agree. Beautiful, beautiful melody. Cubase, yes, it is in yep, so, oh, you use Cubase to write this, really nice, very well done. You've got a talent for making MIDI mockups. That's very nice. So Doc Sticky, how do we send in links? So I just went over that just a second ago. Hopefully you saw that. If not, wow, people are not getting it. So maybe next month for January's live stream for the 31st, I'll make a YouTube short announcement as well. Because if people aren't getting the announcements, I want to get out. I want people to have the opportunity. All right, this is a chance for people to get live feedback. It's a chance for them to grow. It's a chance to grow the community. I really love doing it. So yeah, I'll do a video next time announcing it. So hopefully that'll get the news out. But on to the next piece, shall we? So the next one is from Olga Gonathelis. This is a SoundCloud submission. The request, why does this sound both muffled and thin at the same time? How can I improve the mix? And does it feel like it does not go anywhere compositionally? That's interesting. You know what? I've got opinions about that question. I'll share them in a moment. Let's listen to the music first. Additional information. Here is my submission. A short orchestral piece meant to evoke whimsical and otherworldly positive feelings. Ooh, that sounds fun. Let's give it a listen, shall we, people? was beautiful. I loved it. It reminded me of like the beginning of like a video game or animated film. Definitely gave off like beautiful animated type qualities or personality course. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me that's the vibes I got. All right, so Olga, you were asking specifically about the thin quality, asking why it sounds thin. There's a couple things it could be. First and foremost, though, I think the biggest one is your instrumentation. All right, nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But you use a lot of woodwinds, in particular, lots of flutes. Sounds like maybe some clarinets, oboe, a lot of oboe. Woodwinds are all, for the most part, considered thin instruments. All right, so in his amazing book, Orchestral Textures, Henry Brandt describes both the he breaks down the instruments of the orchestra into a bunch of different sections, and what he calls the flute timbre group and the oboe timbre group basically consists of all of the woodwinds, and they're all described as having a thin quality, a very narrow width to their sound. So obviously, if you use a lot of woodwind instruments and you use a lot of thin string arrangements, so thin string sections, string solos, you're going to get a very thin quality to your sound. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want something beefier, something heavier, then you want big string sections and you want brass instruments and percussion and instruments that take overall a wider presence on the orchestral stage, if you will. Now, there are some ways to address this. Mic positions, the types and amounts of reverb you use, your panning strategies. These are all things you can do with your mix to help address it. Now, all of this is a little difficult to describe in terms of just kind of like giving you abstract descriptions. So I'm going to give you a resource instead. Go to my website, tabletopcomposer.com. Go to the blog, and this is one I think I've been giving a lot lately, actually. This one right here, Mastering Digital Spaces for Realistic Music. This blog post is taken from my ebook on creating realistic MIDI mockups, and it's going to discuss mic positions, stereo width, and stereo direction, as well as some basic descriptions of where the instrument should be, as well as reverb. These will all give you a nice solid foundation for creating a quote-unquote realistic mix for your instruments. For this piece, it sounds like you could use a little more panning. You could use a little less reverb, oddly enough. I don't know what library you're using, but it all sounds quite wet. If you like it that way, that's fine, that's fine. Nothing wrong with it, as long as that's the intention you're going for. And other than that, if you like this arrangement, and you don't want to change the instrumentation that much, but you want to bulk up the sound, a very, very simple strategy is anytime you have a woodwind instrument playing the melody, double it in unison or in octaves with a string section. So like if you got the flute is playing the melody, double it in unison with violin 1. If the oboe is doing it, then you can give the oboe violin 1, violin 2, what have you, violas, celli, anyone you want to do with the oboe. But giving that extra space on stage, on your figurative stage, helps give a wider breadth of sound to your texture, to the different layers of your music. It's a very simple strategy, but it's something you could play around with. All in all, I think it sounds really good. So hopefully this is helpful. Check out this blog post. I think it'll be very useful. I apologize, y'all, for not being more in-depth. Usually I'm like on top of it and doing a lot more information than this. But I am still, like I said, I'm still like on the back end of being sick. And I am rapidly losing energy here. But we got a couple more pieces, so I'm going to stick with it. We're going to keep going through. I'm going to see if I can keep helping out. I'm going to see if I can provide some more help. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. And yeah, beautiful piece. I think it's very well done. I don't know if Olga is on the stream with us here, but incredibly well done, my friend. Beautiful piece of music. I think it's very well done. I think I've said that so many times already. Yeah, I would say it sounds thin because the arrangement itself is quite thin. Nothing wrong with that. There are little mixing things you can do. I would read through this article. That will help out. If you're interested, you can check out the whole book. Bookshop. Sale is ended, unfortunately. No, it's not. The sale is still going, apparently. I'm going to have to go in and change that manually, probably. But yeah, check that out. You can check out my Academy. I don't have anything for mixing or anything on there, but the Academy page, Orchestration 2 will help. for arranging. And then if you wanted to learn more about which instruments are thin, which ones are medium full, which ones are full, harmonic balance, how to balance the modern orchestra. This is my ebook. It's a little PDF guide that is very, very helpful as well. So hopefully that's helpful. Let me check the comments here. What we got going on? Flimflammery, where can I learn how to do the basics of MIDI mockups? It's kind of low on my priority list just because I'm trying not to get down the basics. But any suggestions? Judith has a recommendation, and Catherine Dern recently did a great mockup tutorial. Awesome! Yes, check it out. Zach Heidi has a class you can take. I have an ebook you can read. There's lots of resources out there. I will say, I have recently partnered with the good folks who do Note Performer. I'm not going to speak out of turn, but I'm very optimistic that mockups may be a thing of the past very soon. So a MIDI mockup is the art of going into like the deep crevices of your sound libraries and making them sound as realistic as possible. Because basically, anytime you have sheet music, the musicians have so many different things that they're reading in the sheet music that informs them how to perform the passage. How to get the right kind of performance, the right sound that the composer has in their head, and to perform it. And the idea of a mock-up is that you can control those things with a computer as well. You just have to go in and you have to tell the computer how to do every single thing. It's incredibly time-consuming. Some people really enjoy it. I'm decent at it. I don't particularly enjoy it because, again, it's very time-consuming. But one of the cool sides of AI, there's lots of things to be worried about with AI, but one of the cool things about it is that it's starting to make it so that computers are getting better at reading sheet music. And the good folks at Note Performer, who created a really cool AI thing years ago to help read sheet music and create a realistic performance in programs like Finale and Dorico, they've created a new one. And now it can use sound libraries. And I was very fortunate to get my hands on a free copy that uses Musio. And as long as you can write in sheet music, it will take Musio and it will apply a bunch of AI tools and whatnot so that Musio can read it like a musician and try to get the best performance possible out of your sound libraries, the same way that you would expect a regular musician to read your sheet music and give you the performance you're looking for. So I've got a lot of experimenting to do with it. Again, I got to get my computer up and running. Right now, I'm still working on my laptop because I've been too sick to get it all fixed. But once that's up and running, I'm going to do a couple live streams where I explore the new software, the new plugin. And then I'm going to do a video review of the plugin. So very excited about that. But yeah, lots of cool resources for learning MIDI mockups. Thank you for sharing, Judith. Robbie really liked that one. Yes, I did too. Olga was very talented. Great piece, really good piece. Welcome, Carl. Welcome. Oh, Olga is here. Thank you so much. This helps using East-West Composer Cloud, by the way. Yes, I believe that it... East-West, it's a very wet library, isn't it? Because it's like a symphony hall library. That would make sense if you're using a little more kind of souls. You want more of an intimate studio quite sound where there's not as much natural reverb. But you use what you got, right? So hopefully I'm glad that the tips I was able to help is helpful. I was able to provide is helpful. Tamashi, possible reasons for not going anywhere. The chord progression is off, I think. It is a 1 minor 3 minor 6, and the motive doesn't develop or isn't backed by instrumentation. Do you agree, Tabletop? That's a good question. I didn't get those issues. Let's listen to it, shall we? Let's listen to it one more time. So that's right. I was focusing more on the thin quality of the sound. The second request was, why doesn't it feel like it goes anywhere? So that was the first melody, that was the intro. Here we go. Back to the main idea, I think. Nice contrasting area. Dragon sounds great. I don't think I have any issues saying that it doesn't go anywhere. There's a couple moments where you're like, if it were to be longer, you'd want to add a bit more of a contrasting section. This spot right here helps offer a nice little contrast. I think it works well. So I'd say if you're worried about it not going anywhere, probably chances are you've probably listened to it too many times. That happens so often as composers. We listen to our own stuff repeatedly while we're writing it. So a couple tips though. If your music feels like it isn't going anywhere, you probably need a bit more of a contrasting section. It needs to develop. All right, so now that's nice. It's a little bit vague, so let's give you some specific stuff. At some point in the music, in the piece, we'll say, your music should have a relatively strong shift in, we'll say, size, instrumentation, texture, which is the number and types of layers, personality / valence, which is how dark or bright it sounds. And I feel like there's one more. We could say that size would go in with we could say thematic content. So like a very strongly contrasting melody. Now you don't need all of these, but if you feel like your music is just stuck and it's not going anywhere, it's because you probably 9 times out of 10 didn't get as much kind of contrast in there. Didn't give it enough growth. You didn't actually go anywhere. Like it sounds like it doesn't sound like it didn't go anywhere because it didn't actually go anywhere, which is the same idea over and over and over again. So if you can do that, you can have the same melody over and over again. But if you have the same melody over and over again, you want to at least offer a change in size. Maybe have a big string section, then a very tiny little woodwind section, then maybe a solo piano before going boom, strings and brass again. You can change the instrumentation. You can change the texture. Maybe here you have melody and chords. Maybe over here you've got like a melody, counter melody, ostinato in the strings, cool little rhythmic ideas in the percussion, powerful bass line. You get the idea. You're offering contrast through having different sections in your music. So if you ever feel like you're stuck with mundane, repetitive, boring music, chances are you just need a little more contrast. And these are some great ways to get started. Again, you don't need all of them, but the more you have, the more contrast it offers. But again, you also want to have some that are familiar. So if you're going to make all of these different, or like if you're going to do like different melody, different personality, different texture, maybe stick to a similar size, maybe stick to a similar instrumentation. It's up to you. It depends on what kind of strength you want in your contrast, but there's not much you can do. Let's see here. Tamashi offering some great advice. Tamashi is a regular on the channel. So yeah, you could have a more of a strong climactic moment if you'd like, but not all music needs a big strong climactic moment. This sounds like a very ambient track to me, and ambient tracks don't usually have climactic moments. You do have like a section B to section, you could have another return to the main melody if you'd like. Let's see here. Carl says they are also sick. Yes. Yeah, I'm glad that you're here. It is helping a little bit. It's sapping me of energy, unfortunately, a lot quicker than I thought. Shitposting gaming. Yo, can you listen that Ili Venamis December in SC? Unfortunately not at the moment. I'm not doing requests just yet, but if you have music that you would like to submit for the next live feedback, which will be at the end of January, I've mentioned it so many times on this stream already, just find the community page on my YouTube channel or follow me on Instagram. 1 week before the last stream of the month, I always make an announcement. But yes, I am sorry I don't take requests during the live stream just because I have specific instructions for submitting the music so I can vet it beforehand and make sure that you're not posting anything inappropriate or trying to get me to share anything inappropriate, and just to make sure that, you know, it's a nice family-friendly channel. So thank you for being understanding. Next we have Mitchell Fulton. Requests, how can I use the lower registers better around 1 minute and 24 seconds to create contrast with the high melody? Ooh, good question. Let's give it a listen, shall we, and find out. Nice contrast. We were up here, now we're down here. That's nice. Beautiful arrangement. Very well done. All right, so you asked specifically, Mitchell, about using the lower registers a little bit better around 124. So there's not really a lot about this that you need to worry about. Don't overthink it. Chances are, if you have a strong bass line, just add more low voices to bass line. If you want to create, so there are, of course, other strategies. So if you want more power, more punch, more pizzazz, there are strategies like additive accentuation, where you have the main bass line, and it play the main bass. I cannot talk today. I'm sorry. The main bass line is playing, but at important beats, you add additional instruments that just kind of hit that note together to add a bit more weight, a little more beef to the end. You can use kind of like these book-ending strategies that John Williams uses a lot, where at the very beginning of the phrase, the first couple measures, you use a lot of instruments, then you cut back to a little bit fewer, and then at the very end, you add those instruments back to create a nice heavy beginning and a nice heavy ending to each phrase. Now, there's all kinds of strategies that you can use for orchestration. You can learn a lot of them by studying music and just like noticing the cool things composers do. But if you really want to dive a little bit deeper, again, I have a free resource on my website called The Academy. You can go to the Academy tab, the Tabletop Academy of Music. This is one of my passion projects, free classes. The one that would probably benefit you the best is Orchestration 1 and Orchestration 2, if you haven't taken them already. Orchestration 1 is instrumentation. It's all about the different instruments of the modern orchestra, their ranges, their registers, their tone colors, their common uses, stuff like that. Then Orchestration 2 is where you really start to get into those strategies, those fundamental arranging techniques, as the name describes, where specific thoughts, tools, ways of applying instruments. You don't have to take 1 and then 2. They are separate classes. Orchestration 2 is more about arranging, and it's genre neutral, so the strategies that it applies can be applied to most genres. Orchestration 1 just helps give you a bit more background information to prepare you specifically for the orchestra. But yeah, I would say there's lots of strategies. If I had prepared a bit more, that's the tricky part about these live streams. It's hard to like prepare an actual demonstration, especially when I'm sick and losing energy rapidly. So yeah, unfortunately, that's the best advice I can give you right now is check out this class 100% free. If you are looking to show some support and to make a really cool purchase, another great resource for learning more about orchestration are these 2 books here, Harmonic Balance, How to Balance the Modern Orchestra, and my textbook, The Musical Storyteller. If you want to see what this book in particular has before committing to purchasing it, table of contents, you can find it in the description of the book itself. I think it's like a, 16-page, 13-page table of contents. Yeah, 13 pages for just the table of contents. It's a 400-page textbook. Has very good reviews. Check it out. And section 3, part 3, is all about orchestration. So part 1 is about harmonies and chord progressions and creating really cool foundations for your ideas. Part 2 is all about melody writing and structuring full-length pieces of music and sketching them for piano. Then part 3 is taking your sketch and turning it into a full orchestral arrangement. But very, very well done, my friend. Again, I'm sorry. I wish I had more energy. I wish I was 100% healthy at the moment, but we're going to move on. I apologize. If you would like more feedback, send me an email. All right. Send me an email if you'd like more feedback. I'd be happy to give it a listen. My friend. But for everyone else, hold on to your music. I can't give feedback to everybody, unfortunately, via email. But if you submitted it for this piece and you feel like you didn't get what you were hoping for, let me know. I'd be happy to go a little bit deeper. For everybody else, I would be very happy to do for next live stream. So let's see here. Questions. Flip Flammery, are you going to continue your podcast? I listened to the final episode of Return of the King yesterday. Thank you! A fan of the podcast. I love that podcast. I love it so much. Here's the tricky part. We're at a bit of a crossroads. So we recorded 3 episodes for the new season. We recorded, what was it? So for those of you who don't know, I have a podcast with my best friend, Antonio. He is a former classical musician who became a therapist. I am a former therapist who became a composer. So we kind of have a weird dichotomy that way. We both love movies. We both love music. And so we did a podcast where we would watch a movie and then we would each pick 3 scenes that we would break down that we thought that composers could learn from. Our Harry Potter episodes, our Lord of the Rings episodes, and we did a whole bunch of really cool stuff. We did Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, we did Interstellar, we did a bunch of Studio Ghibli movies. I really enjoyed it. Now, here's the tricky part. We recorded 3 new episodes for season 2. Season 2 was going to change the format a little bit. We were going to do 3 seasons, 3 scenes to break down the film. And then we were going to talk about other things as well. We were talking about little tips, like how to use reverb, tips for mixing. I was going to bring in guests. I actually have a recorded interview with my friend Cheska Navarro, who's a very popular Instagram composer who does really cool work helping people find work as composers. And we did an interview about how to leverage your social media, even if it's a small channel, to find work. It was a really cool interview. Still have it, and I still got to release it. I feel really bad because we recorded that months ago. But we've got 3 episodes for Corpse Bride, Dune, and Star Wars Episode 3. Then here's where it got tricky. Antonio has expanded his private practice. He's hired another therapist. He has a new intern that's taken on. So unfortunately, his schedule has just gotten super busy. So we haven't been able to record any other episodes. And unfortunately, he very recently just kind of said he can't commit to it anymore. He would love to do more episodes, but unfortunately, his schedule is too busy. He doesn't know if he can. So we're kind of at a crossroads. We're like, all right, what do I do with this from here? Am I going to do more episodes of the podcast by myself? Possibly. Am I going to find another co-host? I have a friend who would be down for it, and she's got a really cool personality, very energetic, and we vibe well. So that could possibly work. And she's also a therapist, but she's not a musician. So that's the weird thing. So all that to say, there are more episodes to come. I just don't know how many there are, whether it's going to be a full podcast season or not. So hopefully, because we're going to come up with a new name called Scoreforge the podcast. We had a logo and everything. So there's a lot. Yeah, I don't want to let it go yet. We'll see. That's the goal, is hopefully for 2025 to re-release more episodes of the podcast, because I really, really did enjoy it. Carl, so Carl's talking about Olga's music. Monster Explorers, hope I can pop by again sometime soon. Enjoyed what I heard. Also, I need to check out your orchestral miking blog. It's been something I've been really struggling with. See you around. Awesome! I'm glad you're able to find something helpful. I'm glad you're able to stop by, and thanks for popping up in the comments. Don't forget to like the stream, people. It's very helpful for the algorithm and for the channel if you make sure you like the stream. Tamashi Trying, are you going for 100K? Do you have any videos coming out in February? Yes! Starting in February, my goal is to post minimum 1 video every single week. So I'm already working on writing out scripts and prepping videos. I'm going to spend most of January making videos, so I have a nice buffer period. And then, yeah, like I said, the goal is to really hit this thing hard throughout 2025 and really start posting a lot more videos. Give hints at least. How many videos? Oh yeah, like one a week at least. So we'll see. Depends. That's the goal. 1 to 2 videos every week. They're gonna be a little bit of a shorter format, not shorts, but so it'll be a live stream and then 1 to 2 videos every week starting in February. That's the goal. All right, let's do the last submission today, shall we? Ad hoc. No requests. Okay, that's gonna be a little tricky. We're gonna have to listen to see what comes to mind. All right. Additional information. It is half done. Not done yet with mixing nor mastering. I'm just curious for your opinion. I have mixed feelings about this project. I am trying to mix together 2 different genres. I am using ethnic and electric instruments together. Ooh, this will be fun. Let's give a listen and see if I have any thoughts. Shall we? Ooh, Tamashi, I'll give you a couple topics after this.
Reach out my hand and touch the sky.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Drifting away to another life. Come away with me. We can hide away, be free. We can hide away, be free. I reach out my hand and touch the sky. Drifting away to another life.
Sorry, I start to cough if I laugh. This is amazing.
With me, we can hide away, be free. We can hide away, be free.
All right.
Reach out my hand.
Talk about contrast.
Touch the sky, drifting away to another life. Come away with me. We can hide away, we can hide away, be
Ma, 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 ma,
All right, that was awesome. All right, very well done, NetHawk. So I got a couple notes that I took down because you didn't have any specific requests, any asks, so I can't get too specific with my recommendations. But you did say that you haven't really finished the mix. You did say that you haven't really, it's not done with mastering. So I don't want to spend too much time on that. I will say at the very beginning, the bass, guitar, and the piano are a little soft. You could stand to bring those out a little bit more. In around 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's the first transition. I love the contrast. I love the shift in genres. Works really, really well. Just make sure, again, the balancing of the volume. All right, maintaining that balance between the layers. You can have strong contrast like that. But again, we talked about earlier how when you have strong contrast, you want to have something connecting the two. One of them is, of course, very strongly dynamics in that balance. Making sure that the instruments from the first section sound consistent with the balanced levels of the instruments in the second. So work on balancing those a bit more. The only other major I'd say is about 3 minutes in. I love the contrast between your sections. So you have this soft lyrical idea, then you go kind of crazy, more rhythmic. Then you come back to the soft section. That's awesome. Then you go back to the crazy section. That's cool. But the sudden shift, for me at least, I think the first sudden shift works really, really well because it's unexpected. I think when it comes back again, that same surprise doesn't land. Let's listen to it, shall we? On the 3-minute marker.
We can hide away.
Right there. All right. You're going to want to blend those in a bit more. Because the first time that happens, it's like, whoa, this is crazy. Something new is happening. The second time it happens, like, all right, we saw this one coming. The surprise doesn't catch us like you did the first time. So if you could find a way to bring in a little bit more of those electronic and those more elements, bring them in earlier when she's saying, well, you can fly away with me. I think those are the lyrics. As she's saying that, start bringing the electronic elements back a bit more, start building that groove a bit, create more of a gradual crossfade between the two sections so that it becomes smoother. We already know what's going to happen again because we heard it happen the first time. So that same surprise doesn't hit us on that same second return. So it just sounds a little clunky. So when you're not relying on the surprise, when you're not relying on that huge, strong contrast, you want to make sure you have a more musical transition, a more gradual, smooth transition, like we were talking about earlier, where you kind of cross in where those elements, where you introduce the electronic elements and they start fading in a bit first as the softer, more lyrical elements start to fade out. That singer starts to finish her phrase. Just find a way to smooth that transition out again. I think I gave a video earlier where I recommended some strategies for that. I've done live streams on transitions before. I can do another one in the near future. If that seems to be a topic people are interested in. But all in all, I think this is really, really well done, my friend. All right, so y'all, I am like hitting it hard right now. I think I have reached the end of my energy. I'm still sick. I need to go downstairs. I think I'm going to take some medicine, take some tea, maybe take a nap. We'll see. Thank you so much to everyone who stopped by. Let's see, are there any questions? Awesome. So Cavelli Kid, how do I send? If you want to submit music for future live streams, which the next one will be January 31st, set your calendar. January 31st, I will be doing another live stream. It is always the last Friday of the month is when I do a free feedback. This was supposed to be the last Friday of December, but I was terribly sick on the last Friday of December. And I'm just getting over it now. So follow me on YouTube. Follow my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, and make sure you have the notifications set. Click the bell on YouTube if they still have the bell. Yeah, so follow me, and then you'll get a notification because I make a post 1 week ahead of time, basically saying, hey, here are the instructions, all right, and how to submit music. This time all around, I'll do a video too. I'll do a short. I'll do a video short announcing it as well to help give a bit of a wider thing. 'Cause apparently some people are missing out on the posts. But yeah, follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube. Those are the best ways to make sure that you don't miss the next one. Oh yeah, Tamashi asking for hints for my next videos. Yeah, next videos, the videos on February, I'm focusing a lot on musical devices. So music theory. The format is gonna be very simple. I'm gonna do like a video on say cadences. I'm going to give an example of what cadences are in music theory. I'm going to give an example of how they're used in film music, and then I'm going to give some very simple steps on how to apply them in your own music. So I think for one of the videos is I do the Star Wars theme, and I'm like, all right, the Star Wars theme ends with an authentic cadence. Here's what it would sound like with a deceptive cadence or a half cadence, etc. And so you can actually hear how the different types of cadences impact the personality of a famous theme. Then I give you some tips on how to actually practically apply it to your own music. So that's the basic model of all the videos for February. I have a list, I think, of 50 different musical devices I came up with. And yeah, I'm just making a bunch of videos with that. So hopefully you guys find those helpful. In the meantime, my friends, I am fading fast. I need to rest for a little bit. So thank you so much for stopping by the stream. I hope you all had a wonderful time. I hope those of you who submitted music got something beneficial. I hope you got something beneficial from this. And I cannot wait to listen to all of the wonderful music released next time as well. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. I'll see you all next week in the next live stream, which I think is just going to be a hangout section where we'll talk about music. I'll give some free lessons, answering some questions, stuff like that. But until next time, my friends, all right, have a good one. Enjoy your weekends and get lots of rest. All right, bye-bye.